What is going on, my good old friends of YouTube? It's Stas here. Welcome back to yet again another video. So we're going to break down 5 oversold stocks in this video. I think two of which just reported earnings. So we're going to break down some charts, earnings reports, my thoughts, what I'm looking to do with these stocks, all that good stuff. You guys know the drill, so hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, and check out my Patreon if you guys want to see my charts and ideas throughout the day and see me build out my private $100 per week Patreon portfolio, which has been crushing it, guys. You see all the buys, sells, the returns in that portfolio on Patreon. Again, link down below, or go to stassurfs.com/Patreon, or check out the QR code right here. And with that being said, guys, cheers. Let's dive right into the video. So again, we have 5 oversold stocks to break down today. And by the way, right now, when I'm making this video, all the indexes are in the red except for the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones is up 0.25%, whereas the S&P is down 0.4%, Nasdaq's down 0.75%, and we have the Russell down 0.1%. So we are selling off a good chunk here across the board. In terms of the stock market, the indexes, as it is about 115 right now on the East Coast, right? So let's just dive into it with these stocks. Number one being Super Micro Computer. You guys probably saw SMCI is the ticker, by the way. They just reported numbers yesterday, and their stock is down big time. We're not talking 5%, 6, 7%. We're talking almost 17% in the red. And you guys know this is an AI stock, and we're going to talk about some other AI stocks in this video as well. And these stocks have had a lot of growth priced into them, right? Which, of course, heightens the risk the more the stock goes up. And guys, listen, SMCI stock ran up so much, same with all these other AI stocks, right? And now when we get a little miss on revenue, or maybe guidance isn't as strong as expected, right? Which, again, the stock's pretty much priced to perfection. That's when we get a sell-off, right? That's when, the valuation starts to compress, which I'm not saying it's going to collapse or anything. I'm not saying it's going to go down to like 100 or 200 bucks or something crazy like that. I mean, guys, we're still up massively on SMCI. All I'm saying is we're seeing a bit of a sell-off because revenue didn't come in as hot as expected. And, well, that is causing the sell-off, and that's the risk with all these AI stocks. Once the numbers aren't as great as expected, maybe over the next couple of quarters, if that does happen, maybe the next year or two, who knows, that's when valuations start to compress. So SMCI reported, let me see here, guys. I think we covered this yesterday, but let me just quickly read it off to you all. I'm pretty sure they beat on EPS. 665 adjusted EPS, which beat the 578 expected, but they missed on sales. And that's where, we're seeing the sell-off, or why we're seeing the sell-off. $3.85 billion versus $3.95 billion expected for sales. So beat EPS rather, missed sales, and the guidance for full year fiscal 24 is pretty strong still, which is good. I'm pretty sure it's above what they previously expected, which is nice. And again, the stock's down 16%, and we're approaching the bottom of this channel on the 4-hour chart. So I'm actually looking at SMCI here maybe as a bounce back play, especially if it gets under 700 bucks per share into the mid-low 600s. Heck, even here at 715, I'm looking at it maybe as a bounce back play. But of course, I want to let the dust settle a little bit. I don't want to jump the gun quite yet, but it's on my watch list, guys, here as we're approaching the mid-high 600s, as now we're pretty much down almost 45% from all-time highs on SMCI, which is nuts. It's almost down 50%. So AMD is also down 9%. Pretty big red day right now for AMD, as the company also just reported earnings. So adjusted EPS for AMD came in at 62 cents, which beat the 61 cent expected, and they also beat on sales barely, but they did beat 5.47 versus 5.45 billion dollars. And it looks like here they guided for 5.4 to $6 billion of revenue for Q2, which is pretty much right in line with that 5.7 billion expected, although the lower end of that range is lower than the analyst consensus. Maybe that's why we're seeing a bit of a sell-off. But yeah, now that I'm thinking about this, we talked about AMD yesterday, right? Gaming down 48%, embedded down 46%. So no need to dive too deep into the actual earnings. But guys, there's no doubt the stock's getting oversold, right? And we're arguably seeing a bullish divergence here. Do you guys see what I'm seeing on the RSI? We're kind of seeing the RSI flatline starting to actually pop up a bit as we're still clearly downtrending on the stock. So maybe this could signal a reversal at some point, but obviously we're not, seeing any signs of that as of now. We're obviously very beaten down. Now AMD's actually down about 37% from the recent highs, and this is a prime example as to why I do not buy or trade or gamble on earnings, guys, because of this exactly, right? I made an AMD video on my TikTok, I think a week or two ago, talking about the upcoming earnings, and I couldn't tell you how many comments I had talking about, oh, I'm buying calls, I'm buying shares before earnings. And look at where we're at now, 9.5% in the red. If you bought shares, if you bought calls, you would be screwed right now, no doubt, which is why I don't play that game anymore, guys. I don't. But what I'm looking at here is a pretty oversold stock, no doubt, especially if we start to take out the lows, which we haven't done so yet. But if we take the lows out from, actually, no, it looks like we are peaking under the lows a bit or dropping under the lows. Either way, if we do start going under 140, 145, which we are under, under a bit slightly now from, that was the low from the 19th of April. If we go under 140 into the 120s, 130s, that's where I'm looking to start scooping up some AMD kind of as a longer term swing trade, right? And we also have NVIDIA, which, believe it or not, is also down, right? Ahead of earnings, which are coming out here in about 2-3 weeks. So NVIDIA is down almost 6%, continuing the downtrend, quote unquote. Obviously, it's not in a downtrend overall, but if we pull up this 20-day chart, you guys can see, or even on the 4-hour, if I zoom in a little bit, that might be easier. We can see this channel right here. We've been downtrending again, quote unquote, over the past month and a half in this channel right here. Boom, you guys can see. And clearly we got rejected at 880. Now we're back in the mid-low. Actually, we're in the low 800s now. And if NVIDIA starts coming down mid-low 700s, I might consider that as a, trading opportunity, a bounce back play before earnings. That's the thing here. NVIDIA, again, they're later in May. I think the 20th of May, something like that. They're reporting earnings. And guys, it's only the 1st of May right now. By the way, happy May. Hope you guys had a great April. And it's crazy. We're almost halfway through the year already. Unbelievable. So yeah, NVIDIA's on the 22nd of May. Let's see if we can get some sort of recovery on this stock. But honestly, in the short term, I'm looking to see maybe if it slips a little bit more. We shall see. Again, into that mid-high 700 range. That'd be interesting for a trade, in my opinion. So the next stock here, guys, is Disney, ticker symbol DIS, which overall the uptrend is looking beautiful on Disney. We've come down a bit here, about $13 from the recent highs, or about 10%. Now officially, Disney is in correction territory. And look at where it's at. We can see the channel. If I draw it out, we're pretty much at the bottom of the channel right now. Do you guys see this right here? Boom. We're at the bottom of the channel right now, ahead of earnings, which are, I think, next week on the 7th. Let me double check, though. Yeah, on the 7th in the morning. So we're pretty oversold. And like I said, I'm not a big earnings trader at all, but I might consider trading this post earnings. I don't know if it's going to make a big move before earnings. Disney's not really that kind of stock, but if we do get any momentum post earnings, right, maybe a trade could be caught there. That's if we do get a bounce and continue this uptrend. Either way, I'm actually looking at this kind of as a win-win for me, because if Disney comes down under 100, let's say they drop the ball on earnings, whatever it may be, I'll probably buy more Disney in my long-term account under 100. But if we bounce off this 110, 15 level, start to break out, I might trade it. I'm going to trade it and make money in the short term, but not buy more long-term shares. Or maybe I buy long-term shares as well. Either way, it's a win-win. We get the bounce trade, or if we dump down, we get shares at cheaper prices in long-term accounts, or at least that's kind of what I'm looking to do with my money, right? And BBY, let me pull it up and show you guys. Best Buy is looking pretty similar chart-wise to Disney, right? It's in an uptrend, obviously, but now we're down about 15 bucks. Best Buy is probably in a bear market right now, awfully close, about 16-17% down from the recent $86 high. And look, guys, we have a death cross, no doubt. We're not seeing any signs of a bounce quite yet. We are down 2.4% on the day, but I want to see if we get any signs of a reversal, and then maybe we can start to catch a move on the uptrend continuing, potentially, right, on BBY, which again is Best Buy. So what do you guys think about these stocks? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe here on YouTube and check out the Patreon if you guys want to see my charts and ideas throughout the day, the Discord chat. You want to be a part of that. And if you want to see me build out my Patreon portfolio, which is definitely the best feature of the Patreon, guys, you get to see all the stocks I'm buying, selling, all my returns, full transparency, all that good stuff is on Patreon down below. Make sure you guys join that. And with that being said, cheers. I'll see you later.